to India and Ireland, round Africa and back again. We don't really need to know just where we'll go. Maybe Canada, then to Brazil, then through the Alpine foothills. All I really want to know is, can we go? Oh baby, can we go? Round and around the globe.
Welcome to Take Me With You, episode 35. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Cheryl. We are two well-traveled people who want to go everywhere.
But that's not going to happen. So instead, we'll travel vicariously by inviting a guest to share their unique travel stories with us.
So far this summer, we have been doing a series of travel tips with just Ryan and myself. And we will be getting back to that next week. But today, we're going to do something a little different. Today, we got a voicemail.
We got a voicemail?
We got a voicemail. We got our very first voicemail.
Yay!
Because we do have a phone number and people can call us.
Wow. And people actually listen to this podcast?
Yeah, that means that we have at least one listener.
Yay!
Because we got one voicemail. So I think let's just start off by listening to the voicemail.
All right, sounds good.
Hey guys, it's Mikaela, friend of the show. I actually have a question for you guys. I am planning a trip to France and Belgium this summer around August, and we are kind of mapping things out, but I have never been to Belgium. So if you guys would take some time to just give me some advice or suggestions or any ideas of where to go in Belgium. I've heard that Antwerp is definitely worth visiting. I think that we're going to hit up Brussels as well. But any little pointers that you guys have about Belgium would be super awesome. So thanks.
Well,
I mean, that's really cool. I've never been to Belgium. Have you ever been to Belgium?
No, I've never been to Belgium, but my sister has. So, boy, have she and I had some conversations about Belgium recently.
Awesome. I'm thinking, while it's great to help somebody plan, it's way easier if we can get a little bit more information about exactly what they're looking for. Now, Mikaela was actually our very first guest on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we've heard a little bit.
3.
We've heard a little bit about her before, but I still would like to know a little bit more about exactly. It sounds like they've already looked at some stuff. So what have they already done? What do they really want from us? How could we do that, Cheryl?
We are so good at the theatrics. Well, today we're going to invite on Mikaela and Jimmy to join us in planning their trip. Welcome, Mikaela and Jimmy.
Yay, hi.
Thanks.
Wow, what a great performance we just put on
Yeah, wasn't
there.
it though? It's almost like we didn't know it was gonna happen.
Quick, look behind you. There's guests.
What?
Whoa.
Oh my goodness. Mikaela, you were our first guest and now you're back. It's so exciting.
Yay. And it's been like a year almost. That's crazy.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's awesome.
That was many episodes ago. Yeah. Yay. Well, so our listeners can go back to episode 3 to hear Mikaela's interview questions, but I think we need to get to know Jimmy a little bit. So,
Yeah. So, Jimmy, there's a set of questions that we like to ask all of our guests. So the first one for you is, why do you travel?
Mostly to keep up with my wife, because Mikaela likes to travel. But I like to experience new places and new things with people, eat my way through whatever city we go through, and try their beer.
Ooh, well then...
And that's why you're
I was
going
gonna
to
say,
Belgium.
is going to be a great spot for you then. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So what type of traveler are you, Jimmy?
I don't like to fly. So
Okay.
I'm much more of a road tripper type traveler.
Okay.
But when I do travel, I don't like to do touristy things. I don't like the crowds. I don't like the cheap knockoff magnets you see in every street corner. I want to know where the locals go, where they might eat, go off the beaten path. Kind of cliche, but it's just what I try to do when I travel.
Yeah. Have you done much international travel where you've had to fly?
Yes, yeah, you have to fly. You could take a boat to some of these, I guess, but yeah, we did Sweden and Ireland last June, so about a year ago this month.
Okay.
I've been to Sweden before, Germany, Spain a few times to visit Mikaela. Basically, anything international was either inspired by, planned with, or to see Mikaela. So I don't really count Afghanistan as leisure travel, but when I was deployed there with the Army, I did get to see Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar, and do a little bit of fun travel as part of that. So I've seen some places.
Yeah, that's a very different part of the
Interesting.
world than, say, Europe.
Yeah, not as
Little
much
bit.
green.
Wow. So that seems like a way that you guys line up nicely, though, is that I remember that Mikaela also said that she likes to do what the locals like to do and kind of get off the beaten path as well. So that's a really fun commonality that you guys have.
Yes.
That's neat. Jimmy, what's the best beer that you've discovered while on a trip?
Probably anything I had in Bend, Oregon when I was living out in Seattle and we would take road trips to Bend for long weekends. Deschutes, Boneyard, 10 Barrel, just to name a couple of the breweries that are there. It's like you take 3 steps, you find a new beer that you're going to like. So
There are so many breweries in Bend. That's true. I just went to
Yeah.
Deschutes, their location in Portland, and oh man, they have some good beers. Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Nice.
All right, final beginning question is, what is your number one travel tip?
My number one travel tip is bring the right charger.
I feel like there's a story behind that.
Yeah, we need to hear about this.
It's not a story. It's just you always have to make sure you have the right charger so you can have all your stuff charged and ready to go. Second travel tip, then, if you're looking for the story, is make sure you check security for your
Oh,
laptop
boy.
before you go through
Yeah.
when you're leaving Spain and coming back to the States and you need your laptop for school.
Very specifically that.
Yeah.
When you're leaving
So-
Spain and coming back to the States and you leave your laptop there, go back and check with security. That's the travel tip. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, just make sure that you didn't leave it there. Double check your bag before you leave security. Make sure you have your things, and then sprint to the door because you're 20 minutes late.
Oops.
Oh boy.
Because I did
Oh,
leave
boy.
a laptop in
Oh no.
Malaga's airport.
Yeah.
I tried
no.
to stop my flight from taking off, and I was so rabid about getting this laptop back. I was like, I don't care if it's a crime. I don't care if I have to pay for a whole new plane ticket tomorrow. Get me off this plane to get my laptop before I leave this country. It was Aer Lingus, so a very nice Irish woman sat me down. She gave me a Guinness, like they do. She assured me that it's just a laptop and it's much cheaper to buy a new laptop than to rebook an international flight. So luckily I was able to get a hold of Mikaela. She was able to go to the airport the next day. Security did find the laptop and she was able to mail it to me. So
Oh, that's good.
But now every backpack that I buy for travel, I make sure has a very specific laptop compartment where you don't have to take the laptop out of the bag. You can just kind of unzip
Oh.
it, goes through security.
Okay, yeah, except here's the deal. SeaTac won't let you do that.
Really?
At SeaTac, yeah, because I tried. At SeaTac, you still have to take it all the way out of the bag.
Even with
That's
pre-check?
dumb.
Wow.
Well, pre-check's a whole different deal. Because in pre-check, you don't have to take it out at all.
Yeah.
Are you guys pre-check
Sure.
people?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Tell us about pre-check.
It's amazing. Everybody needs to have it.
It's amazing in airports where not a lot of people already have it because I think pre-check lines are starting to get as long as regular lines.
I don't
So,
know. I just flew out of O'Hare, and the regular line was at least 90 minutes,
Yeah.
and the pre-check line
Oh,
in that area was maybe like 20 or something. Like, I had not been used to waiting that long in a pre-check line, but they thankfully just
Wow.
opened another one up, and I cruised right through. Like,
Wow.
it's just so nice to have the option.
And how long is it good for?
So I got global entry, and that is good for 5
Yeah.
years, and that alone is worth it.
Oh.
Like, you skip
Oh,
every customs
yes.
line coming back home.
Yes.
And it's a
Really?
bonus
Oh
to
my
get
gosh.
pre-check.
Cheryl, do you not have global entry?
No, but I think I should get it. And actually,
Oh.
my fiance just applied for his first passport recently. And so I think I should just take him with me, and he and I should go get global
Yes.
entry.
Yes,
Totally worth it.
I'm with Mikaela. Just the global entry alone is amazing. When you come back into the U.S., I'm not even exaggerating. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Are you
You
serious?
skip the
If that.
entire line. I am not exaggerating. You skip the
What?
entire line.
Yeah.
There's a whole series of things. And when I came back from the Galapagos, they had just upgraded. Like they used to do like a scan of like your fingerprints.
Yeah.
They don't even do that anymore.
No.
Now they just take a picture and you're done. That's it.
Oh my gosh!
It is
Now,
amazing.
are there any advantages entering other countries? Are there any shorter lines or anything like that? No. Okay, so it's the
No.
same experience
Well,
going into other
no.
countries, or does it depend
there
on the
are
country?
certain countries I think that do have special agreements.
Like Ireland. Ireland has
Yeah,
that.
Ireland has an agreement with the U.S. I don't know if it's global entry, but when you come back into the States, you already do customs in Dublin or wherever you fly out of. And so when you land in the
Oh, really?
States, you land in like a domestic terminal, you get off, and you walk right out.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
That's really nice.
was great.
Interesting.
That's good to know. Very cool. So you guys both do a fair amount of flying, yeah?
When I can, I love to. When he can't
I
avoid
avoid
it.
There's
it
the difference.
Like the plague. I have to travel for work every week, Monday through Thursday, and
Ooh.
I make sure I get the train. I take the Acela from Boston to New York rather than fly, even though it's only about a 40-minute flight. I'll take the 3-hour train ride over that any day.
Yeah.
Trains are pretty nice, though. It's really relaxing.
I can get a lot of work done.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I got to get global entry and catch up
Yes.
with you guys. So, yeah.
Yes.
You do.
Otherwise, you're
You
going to
definitely
leave
do.
me at the airport when I come back from this trip we're going
Bye,
on.
Cheryl. See you in 5 hours.
Oh, no, but that's not even like, I mean, okay, maybe 5 hours. This is an exaggeration. But
That's a lot of
like,
time, though.
seriously,
Yeah.
seriously, like where did we land? It was Miami when we were coming back internationally from the Galapagos, and me and a few other of the adults had global entry, and we just soared through. It was over a half an hour before I saw the first other person from our group.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my experience in Seattle the last couple times has been an hour plus, maybe closer to 2 sometimes. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're like one of the last people off the plane, and if there's multiple planes coming in at the same time, then it just backs up so quickly.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you're going to look at doing pre-check anyway, it's only like what, $20 more? I don't remember what it is, but the
Yeah.
amount that it is addition to pre-check is tiny. And if you travel internationally, even just once a year, it's totally worth
Cool.
it if you're doing pre-check anyway.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to have to make the road trip. Go do it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well, we got your voicemail a little bit ago, so I'm sure that you guys have been doing some planning since then.
Yes.
So kind of give us like an overall structure of what this trip is looking like.
So I'm definitely the planner of the two. Mikaela has like the dreams and the big picture, but I iron out like the minute by minute structure of how it will go.
Sure.
It's so fun.
For you. But yeah, I think it's like 9 days or so we'll be gone. We'll fly in and out of Paris. So we'll be in Paris for the first few days of the trip, where some of my army friends that are living in Europe and the Middle East are going to meet us. So they'll meet us
Oh, cool.
either in Paris or Normandy. It's the 75th anniversary of D-Day this year, so it's kind of a special time. Yeah, it's a special time to go visit that area. So
Yeah.
from there, we'll head to Belgium. One of my friends I just mentioned, he works for NATO. So he has a house, a couple of cars available to him because I guess in NATO, that's how you do. And so we'll do Brussels, but I've heard Brussels you can do in an afternoon. So we'll take that opportunity to check out Antwerp at some point. If we can sneak by Bastogne, that's another very famous World War II site of a big battle there that was very pivotal to win that war. So it's kind of like an army nostalgia trip for me, while
Plus
Mikaela
Paris.
gets to add on. Yeah.
Plus Paris for
Yeah.
Mikaela.
Well, I mean, we liberated that, so
Thank you so much.
yeah. So that's the gist of it. We haven't quite
Okay.
nailed out the day by day.
Sure. So here's a question that I have for you, and Cheryl, I apologize if I'm jumping ahead of your plan.
Oh
but
no,
I'm
you're
going to
good.
anyway.
Have at it.
So I've done just a little bit of research, not probably as much as you guys have, but in what I've looked at, and I'm going to say the name of this town incorrectly, so I apologize, but I think it's something like Bruges. It's Bruges. And it's closer to the coast. Have you guys looked anything into Bruges?
No,
I haven't.
No. So
Because everything that I've seen, that looks like the most interesting place in all
Yeah.
of Belgium.
Yeah, I
Can
asked
you
my
tell me why?
I asked my sister recently because she and her husband went to Belgium a year ago, and I was like, "Guys, tell me all the things." And
Yeah.
Bruges was the first thing they mentioned, and they just were
Yeah.
raving about it. And so, what they said was that it was a medieval city, and it still has a lot of the medieval feel, and it hasn't really like grown or developed too much outside of still kind of having that, which means it's super walkable as well. They said there's windmills along the river.
Yep.
There's this brewery that my brother-in-law mentioned that it's called I don't know how to pronounce anything ever. De Halveman. DE space HALVE space MAAN. And
sounds about right.
they were just like raving about that brewery. They said that they said that there's good chocolate everywhere in Belgium, so that's great, but they were like raving
Perfect.
about the chocolate there too. But yeah, Bruges was just the one that they were like, they just were getting really stoked about when they were talking about Belgium. So,
Whoa. Good
yeah.
To know.
Yeah, the description that is in this one tour book, the Lonely Planet book that I'm looking at right now, it says medieval architecture and endless canal side charm. So it's kind of like Venice of the North because it has canals and stuff in it too. Make beautiful Bruges one of Europe's most romantic getaways. Less tourist oriented, grittier yet somehow more satisfying.
Perfect.
So
That sounds awesome. Just throw some romance in there with the whole army trip.
Well, he said gritty.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man.
So yeah, I mean, and it has this huge, and I guess Brussels does too, but it has this huge like main square that has beautiful buildings that kind of surround it. There's some really cool like churches, cathedrals there. I don't know if you guys are into that sort of thing or not, but there's some really cool,
Yeah.
like with big giant bell towers and some things like that.
That sounds
That would
amazing.
be cool. And then, yes, I mean, all of Belgium, like the food and all of that. So, I mean, I'm going to jump on this because otherwise Cheryl's going to say it. So I know at least Mikaela, I know you listen to the show. Jimmy, I don't know if you've listened to it much or not. But Cheryl's big on the food tour.
Ooh, yes.
Yep.
Is there
all
a
about
food
those
tour
food
there?
tours. I mean, I
Well,
think there's
I
a food
haven't-
tour everywhere at this point.
Yeah, there's food tours just about anywhere. And my personal, and this is you, I'm not a big foodie. I've said that a bunch before. But if there is a chocolate food tour
Yes.
in Belgium, I
You
mean,
should probably go to all of them.
I feel like you would have to do that.
Definitely.
They will take you to all the right chocolate places and you'll get to sample chocolate for like 3 hours. Why would you not want to do that?
I can handle
And
that.
I actually
Yeah. Definitely.
I was just doing a quick little Google search right before we called you. So let's see. Looks like there's one in Brussels.
Perfect.
Ooh, the top 10 Belgium chocolate tours.
The top 10.
Plural.
Meaning there's
Yeah,
And you
top
could do
10.
all
More than
10
10.
of them.
You could do
Cheryl
all
Check them off
10
the
of them.
list. Yeah.
Well, we
Two
need
a
to see
day.
if that ranking is correct.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's valid. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
You're going
It's
to
the
have to
right thing
fact
to
check
do.
that for us.
So like
Absolutely.
so the number one that they have listed, and I don't know if this is ranked in any particular order, but Brussels chocolate walking tour and workshop.
Wow.
Whoa.
I like the sound
workshops.
of that.
Make your own.
Yeah.
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 I love
Brussels
Lucia.
chocolate tasting tour, Brussels food and beer walking
That's
tour
the one.
with mussels
the
and
one.
chocolates.
Oh, that's Jimmy's.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I'll
Oh, yeah.
do an
They've got a
extra
lot of
chocolate tour
seafood.
while he does that one.
And frites.
There you go. There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Hungry Man's famous beer and chocolate tour.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We're in.
So many.
Yeah. So,
So,
I mean, yeah, go ahead, Cheryl.
another cool city that my sister was telling me about that, I mean, the cool thing as I was thinking about you guys being in this country, and I was like, everything's like across the country from each other, but also it's a tiny country, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But actually, on your way to Bruges is Ghent. Have you looked into that at
Yeah.
all?
It sounds familiar. We watched-
Ghent.
Yeah.
It sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
it's in between the two. Not quite halfway between.
What were you
but
gonna say, Jimmy?
Close.
We watched some really old, lame documentaries on
Awesome.
Amazon Prime last week.
Classic. Straight out of the 90s.
Yeah, and it may have been mentioned. The name is familiar, but go ahead and
Yeah.
So
fill
it's
me in on
also
what I missed.
it's also a cool medieval city. Again, I got to hear about the bar there with the cool beer
Nice.
because there's this bar called the Trolle Kelder.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I just
a
nailed
good one.
that.
It's my
and
favorite.
apparently, it just has a really wide selection of beers there. But it has a beer that's made by a monastery that I guess is, some people say, is the best beer in the world, and they don't
heard of
carry it in a lot of places. It's called Wes Veltaren, is the name of the beer. But you can get it there. And so my brother-in-law was telling me all about that beer because he was very excited that he found a place where you could buy it. So
Nice.
that was good. But he said their selection is huge. So that was fun. There's a castle there. That's the Gravenstein Castle. Has like a big moat and a drawbridge. And it looked very cool. And then there's a church called Van Eyck, Eyck.
Oh, yeah.
Michaela, you speak 4 languages. Come on, help me
You're
out.
right. Oh, shockingly. Flemish is not one of them.
But it has an altarpiece that some people say is the best in Dutch history. And it's like one of the famous pieces of art there, and so that looked like a cool place as well. So Ghent looks pretty awesome too. Ryan, what did you find out about Ghent?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna again hear my my biases. They have a botanical garden.
Nice.
I love me a good botanical garden. To just kind of walk around and not have it be loud and lots of obnoxious people.
True.
So yeah, and I mean, I don't know. Have you guys booked your lodging already?
I think that we'll probably be staying
Basically.
with our friends in Brussels and then
Okay.
doing
Right.
day trips here and there.
Oh, cool.
But
Okay.
Yeah.
given that
Yeah.
Belgium is small enough to be able to do that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
well, access
that's
to
awesome.
a vehicle. Obviously, European train systems
Yeah.
are much better than here. But
Yeah.
for those short jaunts that might
Yeah.
not get in the public transit the way
Yeah.
we need to get to, we can always just drive. So
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Because what I was gonna say is, it seems to me, and I know Jimmy, you are the let's plan it out day by day type of person. So this may be, maybe you want to have like a few like key things in several different cities that you would want to see.
Yeah.
But it almost seems like some of this may be like you've got these things you want to do, but since you've got the flexibility in your transportation,
Yeah.
you may want to make some of those decisions like day by day while you're there. You know, definitely saying, oh, we definitely want to see these things. We definitely want to see these things. We want to go to these places. But like, I think, the day trips, I would just, again, based just on the stuff that I've looked at, Bruges sounds like it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I do think Ghent would be cool. And whether you do that as a part of the day trip up to Bruges, or it sounds like Bruges has enough to fill a whole day on its own. So,
Maybe we'll have to stay
you
overnight
might want to.
there after hitting up Ghent.
yeah,
There you go. You could do
be
that.
a fun
Kind of an
little
extended
2-day
day trip.
thing. Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
have a map out? Where's Antwerp from all of this?
So Antwerp is almost
All
directly north of Brussels,
Right by-
whereas Ghent and Bruges are northwest.
Okay.
of Brussels.
Do like a little
So
circle.
it could be a loop. Yeah, it could be a loop for
Yeah.
sure.
The Ring
Or they
of
could even be
Belgium.
set.
Nice.
The Ring of Belgium.
Well, and it's all still on the northwest part of the country, so it's all in the same direction compared to Brussels. And so I totally agree with Ryan's advice, though, where like it might make a lot of sense to maybe just like open a doc on your phone and have different notes on like, if we go to Ghent, we're definitely going to check out this cool place, but then like decide like, well, do we want to, what do we want to end up doing and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have some notes on Brussels as well. One thing that my sister said is that she was like, oh, well, Mikaela, if she speaks French, then she should definitely be there because it's bilingual there and there's lots of French there. So
Yes.
that was exciting to
Yay.
hear. Then she also said that pretty much everyone knows English there anyway, and so but
I could just
I'm
pretend to be
assuming
snooty.
I mean, I'm assuming you're excited to be able to
Yeah.
speak another language in a country. So.
Yes.
And then there is a brewery in Brussels that it sounds like you're definitely going to have to check out as well because it's so old that they don't use no, Lisa shared about this in her Wish You Were Here when she was on this podcast, but they don't use yeast, I think, because it's in the air and in the rafters.
I remember
Oh, yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
So
that.
it's like a farmhouse style. Sometimes it's like a saison.
Uh-huh.
Or yeah, they brew with just the yeast that's in the air.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I think you have to go there.
Naturally.
They said it almost
yeah.
feels like going to a really cool museum because of the history of the place and everything. And they have really good sour beers there. So this one was called Cantillon, something like that. So I
Nice.
can send you these notes afterwards.
Perfect. Thank you.
And then they were saying that in Belgium, the working class is kind of what like ruled society a little bit more, and so the guilds were really important. And there's a square there that is the Guild Hall Square, and there's all these different areas that are like kind of about the different guilds. And so apparently it's a really fascinating area to check out because of that. So that sounded really interesting.
Cool.
So yeah, that sounded
Awesome.
neat as well.
Yes.
And then just in general, she also said you should definitely rent bikes because there's lots of flat areas there, and so it's
Excellent.
a fun place to do that.
And I would just toss in, I've mentioned this before, if they do, like you're probably going to do, at least one walking food tour, but I'm a huge fan of bike tours in a city. Cause it's a good, to me, it's like a good middle ground between like doing like a bus tour or something like that, where you're sitting on a bus and you're looking through a window, or like a walking tour, which really gets you into the city, but it's less efficient as far as like time. Like a biking tour gives you a good lay of the land, so you can kind of have an idea where things are, but it also is a little bit faster, so you can see more stuff.
True.
So if you wanted, and the thing that I like about doing a type of tour like that is, especially if you're going to be in a city for a while, it gives you a good idea of sort of like where things are and where you may want to come back to and what you would want to do later, like on your own, like not on a like official tour.
True.
So
And if you guys
That's a
aren't
good
really
idea.
tour people, there's also just so many like self-guided tours and things like
Yeah.
that, where it's just
Yeah.
like a general layout of where you could visit even, and so that would be
Yeah.
a fun thing. And then apparently they just really appreciate good food there. They have mussels and waffles and chocolate and beer and all that stuff. And so I'm so jealous of you guys, and now I want to go to Belgium.
It's going to be delicious.
And then there are the belfries there, the bell towers, and with working bells, and you can climb in them. So I think you should climb a bell tower somewhere as well.
Can you ring the bell?
Oh, I have no idea.
I think in some places you can, because I was reading that the UNESCO, which does the World Heritage Sites, there are so many belfries in Belgium that they just did sort of like a blanket, all right, all of these, they're all something like 35 or whatever that are all these like UNESCO World Heritage Sites, just because they have so many of them. And so I think some of them may allow you to actually do some things. What is
Oh,
it? Let's
man.
see.
Jimmy, you got to ring a bell. That's awesome.
It includes 33 belfries,
Don't
which a
get-
belfry, for those of you who don't know, is a church-like clock tower built as symbols of civic freedoms.
Oh,
I was really hoping that a belfry was a Belgian French fry, but that was just me.
No,
so.
but actually,
So
that
close.
was the other thing that that was the other thing that I saw. So they have French fries, which they don't call French fries; they call them
Frites.
Probably frites,
No,
because that's where it
no,
is.
they have a different name for them. They have their own unique name for them. And I don't remember what it is, but they're like super proud of them, and they claim that they're the best French fries in the world.
That's
Well,
what we
you
saw.
guys are gonna have to
Belgian
fact check
fries.
that one too. So
Well, obviously.
yeah.
I don't remember what it is that they call them, but it was something
Google
else.
might know.
Google
Let's
might
see.
know.
yeah, Google tends to know these things.
French
Belgians call their French fries?
in Belgium.
In Belgium, they wouldn't be French. then,
Lace
would they?
frites? No. Tell me the
That's
real
just-
answer.
The freaks.
Come
Google,
on,
stop
Google.
lying
Yep.
to me.
Google.
10 things you didn't know about Belgian fries. Guys, let's find out the 10 things we didn't know about Belgian fries.
Well, I'll bet you I don't know most of them. I do know that they are double fried, though.
Yes, we
Oh,
saw
yeah,
that in
yeah.
our cheesy documentary.
What?
Found out
They
that
got
they're the
their
best
name
fries,
during
though.
World War II by American soldiers. The origin of frites is in Belgium. Maybe.
These are a bunch
Man.
of things I didn't ever know before.
Just tell me the name of them. I don't know. It's a mystery lost to time. We have no idea. There's no way of
Lost.
knowing.
You will need to go to Belgium, find out, and then return
We'll
and
report
report back.
back.
Yep, there we go. Yeah. My sister also gave me a piece of cultural advice, and I've read this as well, that people are very direct and blunt there, and in fact, it is more polite to be direct and blunt, and it
great
might
for
come
New
across
Englander,
as
Jimmy.
rude.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, that's kind of cool because they were saying like at points like a bus driver would say something and they'd be like, "Whoa, customer service," but it was like that's actually like the more polite thing to do is to be direct and blunt. And so that was just a
interesting.
piece of cultural advice that I received.
Yes.
So
I will need that advice. Jimmy, not so much.
there you go. Also, if you guys want to go somewhere that's definitely not at all touristy, in Brussels, there is a miniature park called Mini Europe.
Oh, boy.
They have one outside of
Mini-
Paris, and
I-
it's actually awesome.
Really?
Places
I'm
like
sorry,
that are
what?
so cool.
Tell us
They have-
about it.
That one is like a miniature France. I think that
Okay.
they might have a miniature Europe in part of it. But it was so fun to go there as a kid and just be like, look at this. I totally know this one landmark, the Eiffel Tower. And I'm so much taller than it. But you get to like walk around the whole entire park and it's got different little things that are symbols of each of those places.
Oh,
think
well,
that stuff
apparently
like that
there's
is
one
fun.
in Brussels, so there
Yeah,
you go.
it's like a giant
and
map.
I'm sure it's not touristy at all. I mean,
No,
it looks very
no,
authentic. I
no.
think that's where all the locals hang
Totally.
out.
Obviously.
Yep, definitely would be.
Yeah. Just like we all go play putt-putt golf. It's probably the same kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Mini golf, mini Europe.
Yeah. Why not?
Nice.
And there's a really old zoo in Antwerp that looked really cool. It's the oldest animal park in the country and one of the oldest in the world. So
Wow.
that looked really cool as well.
Nice.
Or it could be depressing. It's hard to tell, but I'm hoping cool.
Guess we might look
I
into
feel
that
like
one.
Belgian zoo animals are eating frites and drinking beer. They're just living the life, so they're
Yeah,
happy.
probably.
Oh man, hanging out with mini Eiffel Towers.
Yeah.
Ringing
Oh.
bells all day long. Yeah.
Maybe there's a mini
Living
giraffe
a life.
in the mini
Oh,
version of
that'd
the
be
mini
so
zoo of
cute.
mini Europe.
Oh my gosh. What if there is?
Okay. So you guys, in talking about this like mini Europe thing, it reminded me of another website that I like to look at that may or may not be an inspiration for you. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
MiniatureEurope.com.
It's called Atlas Obscura.
Oh, yeah.
Are you familiar with Atlas Obscura?
Yes.
Okay, so for those people who maybe haven't heard of it, it's basically the more random, weird, somewhat quirky things around the world and around the U.S. So sometimes there's good stuff there, and sometimes there's less good stuff there. So, for example, I just discovered in Brussels, it has the Atomium,
What does that mean?
which is an an iron crystal magnified 165 billion times its normal size.
Whoa. Oh.
Whoa. Crazy.
Why did
So it's
someone
like a-
do that?
Because it's cool.
Because they can.
Yeah, there is apparently this castle that Cheryl mentioned that's in Ghent, the Gravenstein or whatever, Gravenstein is listed on here, so that means it must be cool.
Oh, nice.
Unique food and drink in Belgium.
Oh,
Couberdons,
tell me more.
the Belgian candy that sparked an epic vendor battle.
Ooh.
They look purple, and they're somewhat triangular shaped, like dark purple.
Oh.
Don't know. There's a Yule log cake, although probably not this time of year.
Probably not.
The Groot ale, replacing hops with sweet aromatic herbs to resurrect the
Sounds
extinct
like
beer.
something Dwight Schrute would have brewed.
It does. It totally
Get
does.
Schroot's Groot down at the farm.
Yeah. Antwerp has chocolate hands, apparently.
Ew.
So that's an option.
I don't know about
So anyway,
that one.
you said you wanted to be, off the beaten
That's
path.
true. That might be
little
a
bit.
little too far off the beaten path. No hands.
I don't know where this town is, but there's the doomed city of Doel,
Oh.
I like Doomed Cities.
which is a ghost town in Belgium,
Ooh.
Whoa.
which could be interesting.
That's
So
totally
anyway,
empty.
that could be a place to find some other
Yes.
Yeah.
things that you'd be less likely to see tourists.
Is this
at.
all going to be in the show notes? Are you sending this to us after? I'm not actively taking
Every
notes.
single thing.
I'll remember to go on to Atlas Obscura. Hopefully.
Oh man. Do you guys have plans for your time in Paris?
Actually, no specific plans unless Jimmy came up with our minute-by-minute plan already and I was unaware.
No, the Paris part of the trip was purely for Mikaela.
But Mikaela, you've been before, right?
Yeah, a lot. But I really like that city. What's not
Yeah.
to like?
So how about you tell us what are things that you like in Paris then?
I mean, I just really like walking the streets and hearing people speak French and eating crepes and stopping at cafes and sitting down and chilling. People watching. I really enjoy people watching when I'm there. Like, there's a lot to see and do, but I've been able to go to Paris enough times that I don't feel the need to, like, cram everything into 24 or 36 hours, Like, I'm like, maybe we'll go to one monument or whatever this day, but we'll take our time getting there, and when we get there, we'll sit down and have a picnic lunch and just watch people listen to the music and stuff. I don't know. It's just, it's such a comfortable foreign city for me. But I think that that's probably from getting to go as much as I have. My mom lived there for a while too, so she showed it to us in a very familiar way and not like like, this is my first time to a foreign European city, whatever, like, let's see all the sights. And I don't know. It's just a magical, beautiful place.
I love
It's so
that.
nice.
That's so cool getting to the point where you feel like you don't have to cram everything in at once.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
nice.
It is
That's
nice.
awesome.
And then Jimmy, have you been before?
I haven't, but it's just never been on my list of like,
Sure.
really, you go to Paris. So I'm just in it to win it. In it for the ride.
To win it, I didn't realize it was a competition.
It's
Okay,
always a
cool.
competition.
For
He's got to go rate all the lists of top somethings,
Exactly.
Ooh, let's see if there's any good Atlas Obscura in
Oh.
Paris.
Oh, there must
Ooh.
be.
curious what that would be.
Like, can we find
Mikaela,
a
have you-
guillotine somewhere on the side of the road?
So we just had on Beth and Steven, and they talked about going to Paris, and they went to the what's it called, catacombs? Is that what it is? Have you gone down
Yeah,
there,
the
Mikaela?
catacomb.
No.
It
Some
sounded
of those
really
things-
cool.
Yeah, some of those things really
Oh, that's
creep
number
me
one
out.
on Atlas Obscura.
Of course it is.
Ooh, they have a museum of vampires and legendary creatures.
Ooh.
Sounds like a
That's
Harry Potter
Michaela's
class.
main hangout spot.
Uh-huh. Not so much.
Mikaela, have you done any day trips outside of Paris?
Just to Versailles. We spent some time in Normandy one of the summers that we were there. And I've been up to Saint-Malo and Mont Saint-Michel. But I've never been to the beaches that were stormed by those army dudes way back when. 75 years ago. Give or take. Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy's face. That was a moment right there. I'm really sad this is an auditory medium.
I know. It's the best.
It'll be nice
Well, have
to show Mikaela that part of France. That means much more to me than it does to her.
Yeah.
are you gonna go up to the northern beaches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we'll go.
Oh,
Utah
great.
and Omaha Beach.
Right.
Carentan's one of the first towns that we liberated. The American soldiers in 1944.
Jimmy personally with his army buddies. He was there.
It's the
I
same
didn't
army.
realize you were
He
quite
ages
that old.
really well.
Benjamin Button.
Yeah, he does. Ah, I see. One more random Paris thing from the Atlas Obscura, if you're interested, is you can visit the house of Nicholas Flamel.
Yes.
I didn't realize that he was French.
I mean, apparently, it is the oldest stone house in Paris and was built by its most famous alchemist.
Oh my!
Named
we're
J.K.
definitely doing
Rowling.
that.
No, she was not an alchemist.
It was
She
a
is
little
not an
before
alchemist.
her.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Just a little bit.
I don't think I ever realized that. Well, that's what we'll be doing one of the days.
Nice.
Yes.
We need to brush up on our French wines. We drink a lot of Spanish wines, naturally,
Yes.
because of Mikaela's time
brush up on
in
them.
Spain. We drink a lot of California wines, not really a lot of French wines.
I know, but we're not going.
Well,
to wine
I think you
country.
can remedy that.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yep, there are probably ways to do that. Yeah.
So I hear.
Like going to
awesome.
France.
Well,
Well, we're gonna need a report after this trip
Indeed.
of all the things that you guys ended up doing. Obviously, you're going to take 100% of Ryan and my suggestions, so thank you in advance
Naturally.
for that.
Clearly. Yep. Enjoy.
Yes.
And you're welcome.
Attitude. Yes, I'm so excited.
Oh, man. So good. That's
Yeah.
very exciting.
It'll be a really fun trip to be on.
Yay. So jealous. And then
Someday,
we're all going to
sure.
go there. And then we'll go back into the country with our global entry.
That's
Yay.
right.
Exactly.
There we go. Full circle.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, and with that full circle, we're going to come around to the last segment of the podcast called Wish You Were Here.
Yes.
During this segment, each of the four of us is going to share a travel attraction from all the different places that we've been. You can think of it kind of like one of those old little postcards with just a snapshot of one place that says, Wish You Were Here. So, who would like to go first?
I'll do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All
Thanks,
right.
Jimmy.
I would definitely say any little farmhouse you can rent in the Dingle Peninsula in Ireland. It is like the classic Irish countryside, but also seaside cottage area that has like sheep on the hills, these beehive huts that were built by ancient druids 10,000 years ago. And you're a quick drive, maybe 10 or 15 minutes from Dingle town, the actual town there. And that town is quaint, and you can get the non-touristy stuff or the touristy stuff.
Nice.
So it's just a cool little spot to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to I have to build on this a little bit. I am headed to Ireland this summer, and we will be staying in Dingle. So
Yes.
any additional tips or suggestions?
Did you book where
positive
you're
or
staying
negative?
yet?
We did already book where we're staying, yeah. So it's not a farmhouse.
That's fine.
Sorry.
Are you driving? Or are you renting a car for your trip?
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
get ready for the narrow, scary roads. They barrel down. But
If I can do it, you can do it.
yeah, I'll look it up. There's two really good Irish bars there in Ireland. They're all Irish bars there. But there's two really good
Ours, yeah.
bars. One is the tourist trap that everybody wants to go to, the owner's son was the world Irish step dancing champion for several years, and he'll just bust out into his moves in the middle of the night. And they play a lot of cheesy Irish songs,
which you liked.
I liked a couple. But around the corner and offline, I can find the name and send it to you. But we first stumbled into this trad bar, and trad music is traditional Irish music. And it was just this low-key spot where all the locals had gathered, and we were the weird ones for walking in. And I kind of liked that. I just was hoping they'd play
your cheesy Irish music.
My cheesy Irish music, but not with tourists all around me.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Dingle was a
That's great.
That was very fitting.
Yes.
Yep. Mikaela, what's your wish you were here?
Oh, man. I kept going back and forth this whole episode. But I think since we talked about France, I'm going to say Mont Saint-Michel is one of the most amazing places that I have ever been to. It's such a gorgeous setting in and of itself, but I think at one point it was on the 7 World Wonders list because it is an island that is connected to France when the tide is out, and then obviously when the tide is in, it's by itself. And so it is this whole big rock that has to be surrounded by a giant rock wall to protect all the people from, obviously, rising tides and everything. It's just a really beautiful setting, and it has always meant a lot to me. I think that everybody should be able to go there at some point.
And for you Americans out there that don't speak French, Mont Saint-Michel is Mont Saint-Michel.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Thank you for the translation.
She loves the way I say all
for
these.
spelling that is helpful, so you know. So. Mont Saint Michael, is it?
Yeah.
It's Michelle. It's
Yeah. The one sad part about that place, though, was I had always thought that it was this, like, beautiful church on there, and when I finally got to go, I found out that it was a prison there, and inside of that
makes
prison,
sense.
you could see the different ways that they would torture their prisoners. So I was like,
Oh, congrats.
Still cool, though. Still worth going.
A little less romantic.
Yeah, a little bit. But I just have to be real with you people, you know?
Sure, sure. And where in France, it obviously along a coast somewhere, but which part of France would you find
it's
that?
in Normandy. It's so like north of Paris, but probably like northwest, and it's west of the D-Day
further west
beaches.
of the D-Day landings. So
Yeah.
we're gonna try to make the extra trek out there.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
it's like an hour's
Michaela's
drive.
just all
I
about
feel
that
like-
torture,
I
so
I
you
feel
know
like
she wants to see
Michaela's
that
gonna
more.
drop me off at the beaches and be like, attack the hill, climb the thing. I'm gonna go there, and I'll see you in a few hours. Like,
It's just so beautiful there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It's definitely I've seen pictures of it before, but I have not been there. It's on my list.
Yes.
And boy, do I have a long list.
Oh, man.
Because now Belgium's on my
I
list.
know.
It wasn't before.
We need
and
to
now
stop
it is.
learning about countries, apparently. So.
It happens.
Oh. All right, Cheryl, what's your wish you were here?
Mine is Hug Point in Oregon. It is a
How adorable.
Hug Point. You're required to hug somebody there. No, that'd be creepy. It just got creepy. It is a state recreation area, but it's cool because it's just barely south of Cannon Beach, Oregon, which we know and love. And actually, we had Ian on a little while ago, and he talked about Cannon Beach next to Seaside.
Yeah.
But I just went there for the first time a few weeks ago, and I would say go there above going to the beach at Cannon Beach, actually. It's probably just a couple miles south. It's really close. But still has the really fun tide pools and everything, but it's less crowded, which is fun. And
Bonus.
there's not the little town along there. There's just like trees and a cool cliff as you're walking along the beach there. There are points where there's just like one ton of barnacles. Oh my gosh, just like this wall is just covered in barnacles. There's points where like the
cool.
rocks are just covered in the sea anemones. And I know it was really fun. I stuck my finger in one too, and that was really fun. I know
Did you
I'm
ask
sorry, but I'm
permission
not
first?
sorry. So I wanted a hug at Hug Point, and it gave me a hug. It was very sweet.
I don't feel like that's what that is.
I
I feel
definitely
like if
said
that's its way of saying, leave me alone, you're scary.
I definitely said to Daryl, I want to lay in a sea anemone that's as big as me so it can wrap me in its weird tentacle things. And he gave me the
sting
face
you?
that Ryan's giving me now. I don't want to be stung. I just think I really like the feeling. It's really cool.
Of being stung.
No. And then at certain points of the year, there's a little waterfall there as well. So we were there in May, and it's not a big waterfall. It's probably like 8 or 9 feet tall. It's really short, but it's just a little runoff. But it's so pretty along this like beach rock. And yeah, I would say if you're in Oregon on the coast, I would choose that above Cannon Beach, actually. So check out Hug Point.
Nice.
And it sounds like it would be not too far from Tillamook. So if you wanted to eat your way through a cheese factory or creamery,
And ice cream.
yeah,
Yep.
we went there.
There
and
we
had
go.
all the ice cream and all the cheese samples one afternoon.
Yes.
Oh, man. I still have not gone to Tillamook. Ryan
Oh my
has.
god.
Wait, you've never been, Cheryl?
Cheryl, sacrilege. Right after you get your global entry, go
Stop
there.
sticking these anemones and
Yeah.
stick your spoon
Right,
in some
thank you,
chocolate
Jimmy.
peanut butter swirl.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Tillamook is so fun. And, okay. Have we...
You've
Did I-
talked about it on the podcast, Ryan.
I've talked about it.
Yeah.
Right, because when I did my road trip.
Yes,
Okay.
you did. Episode
Because it's like
6.
Willy Wonka. It's like going to see
It
Willy Wonka's
totally
factory.
is. But
Aw, that's
better.
So fun. Oh, man.
Yes,
All
because
right,
you get to eat
Ryan.
ice cream.
What's your wish you were here, Ryan?
Okay, so my wish you were here, Cheryl. You'll be proud of me. Well, at least initially you will, and then you probably won't be. So because it's another food site.
I'm so proud of you.
I know, but you won't be in a minute.
Aw, man.
So this is actually a fast food restaurant.
Okay.
Restaurant. I use that term loosely because it's fast food in Slovenia. Like I said, I've been there a number of times. And so there's more than one location. I've been to 2 or 3 of them in Ljubljana, the capital city. And it's called Hot Horse.
Is it horse?
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. It isn't a horse, but they
Okay.
serve horse.
Okay.
boy.
I've never
It's
had
where you can
horse
get a
before.
horse burger.
I want to
Yeah.
try that. Is it good?
Yeah, actually, it's, it tastes kind of like sausage.
Okay.
Whoa.
Has a
Okay.
kind of a sausage
That sounds
flavor
good.
to it. Yeah, and so you can get like an actual like burger, and it's kind of cool because there's about 1 million different things that you can put on the burgers, and you go up and you order it kind of like a Subway or a Jimmy John's where you tell them what you want on the burgers, sort of a thing. But there's a lot of different options, and then they make it, or you could. If you wanted, and this is actually my preference because I've had the burgers and they're huge, by the way. They're huge.
Oh, man.
I actually prefer to get a yufka, which is more like think of it like a tortilla wrap.
Ooh.
And sort of instead of burger, like it's, I don't remember if it's like pulled or if it's like in like more like ground beef. I don't remember. It's been a while now, but I will be back in Slovenia again this summer. So maybe I'll just go double check
Nice.
and
Like
Yep.
you do.
update you all.
Yeah.
You better.
But it's definitely something that you don't get to do in the United States for sure. And I've never seen horse on the menu anywhere else. So it's definitely a unique experience. And if you want to, experience a little bit of the culture, that's definitely a way to do that.
I'm still proud
Hot
of you.
horse.
I'm always up for trying a new animal, so that's okay.
Okay, good. Some of our listeners may be a little yelling at me right now, but
Beth.
hey, guess what? I can't hear you, so I don't care.
That's what you want to say to our loyal listener.
That's right.
She's right in front
Well-
of you,
One.
actually. So.
That's fine.
Well, she's not yelling at me though.
That's true.
There you go. It's not and it's called Hot Horse in English.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
All right.
So
Yeah,
funny.
there are a fair amount of things in Slovenia that are in English, and actually in German and in a bunch of other languages because Slovenia is about 2 million people, and that's the only place in the world where they speak Slovene.
Oh boy.
right? Like
Yeah.
you don't run into that language anywhere else for the most part. So they are multilingual
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and a lot of their signage and things will oftentimes be in multiple languages as well.
It seems like everywhere but the United States that's the case. So
Yeah. Well, we're starting to have more Spanish places.
that's true.
In northern parts of Maine and New Hampshire, stop signs will have, and I'll say it wrong, but it's like arrête or
Oh yeah, in French.
In French. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
because Montreal in Quebec are right up above
Oh yeah,
us,
that
so
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
those Frenchies. And you'll start seeing kilometers below miles in markers.
Oh,
too, so-
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gotcha.
that's awesome.
So we
Metric system.
we
Yeah, dude. We need to bring that
Yeah.
back.
Oh, I'm all over that metric system.
It's
Yeah,
so
for
much
sure.
better. It makes way more sense.
Yep. Sign me up. I'm game. Let's do it.
Yes. Okay. You and me, we got this.
Yep. Just the two of us. We can make it happen. No problem.
Yeah.
so
All right. I
right.
think that is going to do it
Yeah.
for this week's episode.
Thanks for all the
Mikaela
advice.
and Jimmy, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for planning our trip.
Ryan, one more thing in Dingle is they do have their own distillery. And if you have the
Yeah.
car and you have the time, we can send you the info to where we did stay for that Airbnb. The guy has like a pet your own goat thing, which is cool, but you can just pay him like $5 and go to these beehive huts and you can see across the sea to Skellig Michael, which is this island that they filmed Star Wars on.
Which
Oh yeah. Trust me.
I see
I'm
that
well
shirt.
aware of Skellig Michael, and it's on my list of maybe taking a boat to if the weather's good. Maybe.
yeah.
I think you
Oh,
have
cool.
to book that months in advance.
Yeah, but it's weather dependent,
Yeah.
and I can get seasick. So
Might be
Yeah.
better
But
to
it is
just look at
but
it
it is
from
Star
afar.
Wars, Ryan.
it is Star Wars.
Do you
Are you
care about
doing-
Star
but just
Wars?
seeing it is probably good
Are you
enough.
doing Carrie at all, or the Ring of Carrie in this trip?
So that's there's been discussion around that.
Okay.
Because there's another, and I don't remember what it's called. It starts with a B. Another peninsula south of the Ring of Kerry. That's supposed to also be really good. The people I'm traveling with are Serena and Tom. Actually, they've both been guests on this podcast
nice.
previously as well, and so they don't really want to do a super touristy drive, which I totally understand. And since we are going to do Dingle, and then again, and Tom remembers it really well, and I always forget the name of it. There's another one just south of, like I said, the Ring of Kerry that's also supposed to be really good. And so we may end up doing those two instead of the Ring of Kerry. But if we do the Ring of Kerry, we can get off and kind of go out there towards, what is it? Is it Port McGee? Is that the
Yes.
one that's out
what I
there?
was
Yes.
just going to recommend.
It's my family point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Port McGee has its own cliffs that are way better than the Cliffs of Moher.
The
There's
Cliffs of
Oh,
Kerry.
really?
hardly a tourist
Yes.
there, and it looks directly at Skellig Michael. It's the closest I think you could probably get
Totally.
on land to seeing it. So,
I would 100%
But you can see it from-
oh yeah,
recommend
you can
it.
see it like it's the Statue of Liberty from like Lower Manhattan. Like it's right there.
I'm gonna have to trust you on that one. I've never been to New York, but cool.
It's like seeing
No,
the
that's
Space
great.
Needle from
Okay,
Alki.
Like any of those big haystack
There you
rocks on like Cannon Beach or whatever. Is that called Haystack Rock?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. On
It's
Cannon
like
Beach.
right there. It feels
Oh,
that close.
Okay.
And majestic.
Way to
cool.
make a local reference for him. That's awesome.
Okay,
Nice.
I guess I'll have to. We'll go back to drawing board. We'll see.
Yes.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. But thank you so much.
gosh. Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
So we would love if you, our listeners, if I didn't offend you too much, if you would follow us at all the social media. We are at Timwy Podcast. That's TMWI for Take Me With You Podcast on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And we will have some pictures of something. I'm not sure actually what we're going to post for this one.
Because it's in the future.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe some pictures from my sister's trip to Belgium.
Yeah.
There you
that's
go.
True.
So
Or
let
some
us
of the
post
places
them.
that we've mentioned, some places that
Yeah.
that we've talked about. We may find some cool pictures of
Or
them,
just beer
like
and chocolate. Exactly.
Yeah, beer and chocolate. There you go. And then and so follow us and hear the other cool things that we've done. So please follow us on social media.
You can also email us at timwepodcast@gmail.com, especially if you want to tell Ryan about how eating a horse is wrong, or if you want to tell me about how sea anemones are so cool. And
They are cool, Cheryl.
and that you want them to hug you too, and all those things. Or you can send us your travel questions, travel stories, guest suggestions, anything else.
Absolutely. Or if you want to be real cool, like as cool as Mikaela is cool, you could call us and leave us a voicemail, and we will play it on an episode and maybe even invite you on as well. If you want to be as cool as Mikaela, you can call us at 406-763-8699. Or if that's too hard to remember, you could do 406 Pod Timwe, and you can leave us a voicemail. Or maybe you don't want your voice, just send us a text. That's easy. Everybody has their phone all the time, right? Also, please rate and review us, but don't review me badly for being mean. I'm sorry. But really, writing reviews and rating us are a way for more people to discover the podcast and hear the cool stories that our guests are able to share. So we'd really appreciate that. And then if you can also subscribe so that you don't miss all of our episodes when they come out, and then just share us on social media. Tell your friends, tell people who you think might be interested. If they're going to any of the cities that you've heard on our podcast, they could definitely learn some things and have some great ideas from our guests.
Yeah, as always, thank you so much to Beth Reed Miller for her awesome artwork. You can check out more of her artwork at Beth Is Something. And thank you to Erica Corbin for the use of her song Round the Globe.
Absolutely. All right. That is going to do it for this episode. One final time. Thank you, Mikaela and Jimmy, for coming on and trusting us with your travel plans.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks
This was
for
a lot of fun to
recommendations.
talk through, and I'm super excited for the trip now.
I better ring a bell in Belgium.
That's true.
Yeah, get
Bells
video
will
of
be
it.
wrong.
Yeah.
We'll get audio
Ring a
of
bell
it
in Belgium.
for this podcast. We can send you
Yes.
the audio.
Hey, great.
Yes.
Perfect.
We can't wait. And until next time, take me with you.
Take me with you.
Can we get a sailboat chasing down the sunset as we float round and round the globe? Salty air and balmy nights, guided only by the lights above, and a little love. Oh, the world is out there waiting to